Well, it is 6:30. January 2021 meeting of the Morrisville Planning and Zoning Board, and ask Marty to do a roll call of the members and alternate members.
Yes, sir. Chairman Pritchard.
Here.
Vice Chairman Langston.
I am present.
Member Acharya.
Present.
Member Sack.
Present.
Member Toterai.
Present.
Alternate member Roebuck.
Present.
And alternate member Michael.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you, Marty.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome everybody to this first 100% virtual meeting. And I think we all hope that we'll be in better times soon and maybe get to not be so virtual. Item number 2 on our agenda is to adopt the agenda. Are there any changes from your point of view, Michelle?
No, they're not, Chairman.
Thank you. Since I now have access to chat, if other members wish to communicate or indicate that they want to make a motion during this meeting, chat is probably the best method to do that. Any changes to the agenda suggested by the members? Hearing none, we'll continue with the agenda, and item 3 is approval of minutes. Have you all had a chance to review
I think we may have lost Peter. Oh. So Michelle, should we wait for Peter or should I continue?
So let's give Peter a couple minutes here to troubleshoot.
No problem.
Then we could circle back. And thank you again, everyone, for your patience. Trying to communicate with him offline, but it looks like he is trying to get back in and maybe having internet problems.
this is Peter. Hello.
Okay.
Hi, Peter.
Chairman Pritchard, we can hear you. It looks like you are still waiting to formally be admitted into the meeting for some reason, but we can hear you. Your face is frozen from a few minutes ago on the screen, so we don't have any updated video.
Right. I've actually called in using my trusty old 12-year-old flip phone, which worked fine. And I'm frustrated because I tried to dial in and it says I'm connecting, but apparently I'm not connecting. So I'm going to have to continue it on audio. If you can bear with me, I will try one more time as we progress, but I don't want to hold up the meeting so long. Last I heard, Lee was wondering whether he should continue. Did we have a motion to approve the minutes from December?
No, we were giving you a moment to troubleshoot.
Thank you. So let's do that by audio. And Michelle, you'll have to relay that information to me by audio. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from December?
Okay. It looks like Member Akara and Member Langston are looking to move and second that.
Okay, very good. So Marty, could we have the roll call for the approval of that motion?
Yes, sir. Member Acharya,
Aye.
Member Sack,
Aye.
Member Sakurai,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston,
Aye.
and Chairman Pritchard.
Aye.
So that motion is passed.
Very good. Marty, do we have any general public comments under section 4 of the agenda?
Yes, sir, we do.
They're separate from the items under section
Yes.
4 of the agenda, is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is a public comment, not related to the rezonings. So I will begin. This is from Steve Lauderdale. He lives at 2104 Glade Valley Lane in Morrisville. He says, I am a resident of Morrisville and am active on school issues. Although I'm a member of the Wake County Public School System Board Advisory Council for our district, I am contacting you in my individual capacity. I am not speaking for Wake County Public Schools. He did, okay. During PZB's December 10th meeting, starting at about 1 hour, 49 minutes into the video, there was some discussion about the draft land use plans reference to the Wake County Public School System, including action item number 19, page 84 of the plan, to quote, continue coordinating with Wake County Public School System on identifying future school sites and updating them on new residential growth, unquote. Although there was some question within the PZB about why there was a focus on Wake County Public Schools as opposed to both Wake County and Durham schools, fortunately, Brad West explained that the town council and Morrisville residents are focused explicitly on cooperation with the Wake County Public School System. For additional information, there's another slide that he submitted. For additional background, Morrisville's strategic plan, Morrisville's strategic plan explicitly mentions the Wake County Public School System. Goal number 6, Initiative 6D, includes work collaboratively with Wake County Public School System. Allow me to emphasize that the town's strategic plan explicitly mentions, quote, Wake County Public School System, unquote. FYI, based on Wake County Public School data, I estimate about 5,000 Morrisville residents attend Wake County Public Schools. The PZB may know that about 12 homes in Morrisville are actually in Durham County. I also estimate that only about 5 Morrisville residents attend Durham Public Schools. In other words, with regard to Morrisville's public school system, 99.9% attend Wake County schools and only 1% attend Durham County schools. I hope this helps clarify to the PZB why the town of Morrisville's focus is on cooperation explicitly with Wake County schools. And that's all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, Chairman, we can hear you and see you.
Thank you. Good. So thank you for that public comment, Marty. That was the only public comment, right?
Yes, sir. That's the only one we received.
Thank you. So we'll move on to item 5, and I think Emily is going to present this.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm presenting item 2021-22-0, consideration of items to amend the zoning map for 3109 and 703 Slater Road.
Emily, you should have control. Okay.
I think it's just moving slow, but I think I got it now. Thank you. Okay, so the subject property you can see outlined here in red. Sam Properties has requested to rezone the parcels at 3109 and 703 Slater Road from medium density residential zoning district to conditional office institutional. The 3109 and 703 Slater Road are 2 adjacent parcels. Each of the parcels are cross into both Durham and Wake counties. The property is approximately 2.90 acres in total. The existing land use on the property is single family residential. The 2009 future land use plan designates the property for office use, which is consistent with the request for the conditional office institutional zoning district. So the request is for only a zoning map amendment, not a comprehensive plan amendment. 3109 Slater Road is within the corporate limits of the town of Morrisville. 703 Slater Road is not. So 703 Slater Road will need to be annexed into the town limits.
Michelle, I think there are 2 of these, right? So are we talking about just first are we talking about both of those Slater Road properties at the same time or one at a time?
Elliott Ward is going to be doing a separate presentation for both of the rezonings tonight are on Slater Road. This one for 2 parcels adjacent to each other is considered one rezoning, and his is also on Slater Road, but will be presented separately.
Yeah, okay. I got confused between when you said there are 2 properties. So yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so you can see the property here is bordered to the north by another conditional office institutional zoned property, to the south by high density residential, and to the east and west by medium density residential. The 2009 future land use map again designates this area for office use. You can see the subject property there in the upper left corner. The draft future land use map also designates the area for office. The applicants have proposed several conditions on the rezoning. First, this list of principal uses that would otherwise be allowed in the office institutional zoning district will be prohibited with this rezoning. An indoor kennel, a central utility plant, a parking deck or lot as a principal use, a utility facility major or minor, a hospital, a bus station, a park and ride terminal, a transit station, a private recreation facility outdoor, private entertainment facility outdoor, a cemetery, a car wash or detailing business, or a sports training facility outdoor. In addition to the prohibited uses, the applicants have proposed additional conditions. Two, they have proposed to build cross access to the property to the east. The development will be consistent with the sketch plan, which you'll see shortly. The applicants will construct an 8-foot multi-use path along Slater Road. The building architecture will provide for horizontal articulation, vertical articulation, change in materials and or change in colors above the first floor along the corner of the building, addressing the intersection of Slater Road and Suburban Road. Parking will not be developed between the building and Slater Road and Suburban Road rights of way. Landscape buffer averaging 6 additional feet in width beyond what would otherwise be required will be provided between the parking area and Slater Road. And the 703 Slater Road property will be annexed into the town limits prior to site plan approval. So this is the sketch plan that the applicants have provided. They're proposing an approximately 36,000 square foot office building. You can see the area in the front there where they're proposing the additional landscape buffer between the parking and Slater Road. It might be sort of hard to see here, but the 8-foot multi-use path is also labeled along Slater Road. You can see the cross connection to the parcel to the east. And in general, the sketch plan will have to be, or the final development will have to be substantially similar to the sketch plan, though not identical. The applicants also provided this architectural concept for the building. The architectural concept here is not binding on the applicants to develop the building exactly as it's shown here. However, you can see it's sort of an example of the condition they provided for the architectural elements at the corner of the building along Slater Road and Suburban Road. The applicants will construct an 8-foot multi-use path along Slater Road frontage. The comprehensive transportation plan does not recommend any additional road improvements be required. We did not require a transportation impact analysis for the rezoning because it is consistent with the land use plan. However, a TIA will be required prior to site plan approval, so additional transportation recommendations may come out of that at the time of site plan review. Staff is recommending approval of the requested zoning map amendment to conditional office institutional for the following reasons. One, the proposed rezoning to conditional office institutional is consistent with the 2009 land use plan designation for the property. Two, the proposed office institutional zoning district is compatible with surrounding zoning districts. And three, the requested zoning map amendment would allow for development that is compatible with developments in the surrounding area, thereby resulting in a logical and orderly development pattern. The board is asked to act tonight on resolution 2021-22-0, adopting a plan consistency review statement, and ordinance 2021-22-0, approving the zoning map amendment to provide either recommendation of approval or denial to town council on each of those items. And I believe the applicants are here, and I believe they intended to speak briefly about this as well. I'm also happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Emily. Let me jump right in before we open it up to the board and the applicant. This was only a zoning map change.
Chairman, I had a little bit of trouble hearing you, but I think you asked if this was only a zoning map change, which is correct. It's an amendment to the zoning map. It is not a comprehensive plan amendment, as the request is consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Very good. Thank you. So I'm going to ask the applicants if they would review their proposed development.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Can you guys hear me?
Hear you.
Yes, I believe the chairman is having some audio issues on his end.
That's fine, but you all can hear me. I think the chair was asking the applicant to speak now, if I understood
Yes,
correctly.
we can hear you.
Great. Okay, and good evening, Chair Pritchard and Vice Chair Langston and members of the Planning and Zoning Board. And thank you, Ms. Langston, for your presentation. My name is Neil Ghosh. I am an attorney at the Morningstar Law Group, located at 112 West Main Street in Durham. I am pleased to be representing the applicant for this project tonight, Sam Properties. And actually, that is where I'd like to begin. You may not be familiar with Sam Properties because this is their first dip into the Morrisville market, but for almost 2 decades, Sam has been active developing Class A office space and retail centers, particularly in the Wilmington area. The owners of Sam Properties are North Carolina natives, and they are committed to providing high quality design in Class A office buildings. Over the years, their attention to detail has caught the eye of several large employers like Encino, Wells Fargo Advisors, and WellCare Home Health, which is the largest private healthcare provider in the Wilmington area. They want to bring their expertise to Morrisville, hopefully to attract another large employer or several small businesses to one of their signature office buildings. As Ms. Langston explained, we are seeking a rezoning, which is consistent with both the current and the future land use map designations. Our requested rezoning includes zoning conditions which ensure a development that is consistent with the sketch plan. It will be a single office building around 36,000 square feet in size with an attractive corner feature, which will give the building some real character. But Sam is not focused solely upon the potential tenant's experience, and they understand a larger context of becoming a new member in the Morrisville community. This is why they have made commitments so that the parking field will not dominate the frontage. Along Slater Road, where the parking field is not shielded from view by the building, they have committed to additional landscaping, and they even have committed to constructing an 8-foot wide multi-use path along Slater Road that will fill in an existing gap in the sidewalk network. So we're pretty proud of this case. This will be a first-class office building in Morrisville, and the additional commitments demonstrate Sam's dedication to making a good project better. I want to thank you for your time tonight. We look forward to getting your feedback, and our team stands ready to answer any questions you may have. We have with us tonight Mr. Steve Anderson, Mr. Parker Anderson from Sam Properties, as well as Mark Ashness, who is the lead engineer on the project from CE Group. And again, thank you for your time. We hope to have your support tonight.
Thank you for that overview. Comments?
Okay, if any members have a question for the applicant, feel free to indicate in the chat box and we will call on you. Do any of the Planning and Zoning Board members have any questions?
And Michelle, you said this is not a site plan review, right? Just a rezoning review, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I have no questions.
Entertain a motion.
Okay, it looks like we have a motion from member Toteri.
Sure. As required by the General Statute 160A-383, I hereby make a motion to recommend approval of Resolution 2021-22-0 to the Morrisville Town Council pertaining to the adoption of a plan consistency review statement for a zoning map amendment for 3109 and 703 Slater Road, property located along the south side of Slater Road and the east intersection of Slater Road and Suburban Road to the conditional office/industrial district Res 000-455-2020 based on the following. The proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan and is in the public interest because the 2009 future land use plan designates this subject parcels for office use.
Thank you, Tim. I think you meant to say.
Do we have a second?
Have a second for that.
Okay, member Langston. Secretary Saunders, would you like to take a vote?
Okay. Member Acharya,
Aye.
member Sack,
Aye.
member Toteri,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston,
Aye.
Chairman Pritchard. Okay. All right. The consistency statement has been approved unanimously.
We can move forward with the zoning map amendment. Okay. Hereby make a motion that the Planning and Zoning Board recommend approval to the Town Council of Ordinance 2021-22-0, approving a zoning map amendment for 3109 and 703 Slater Road, property located along the south side of Slater Road and east of the intersection of Slater Road and Suburban Road, the conditional office/industrial district Res 000-455-2020.
Okay, it looks like that was seconded by member Sachs. Secretary Saunders, would you like to take a vote?
Yes. Member Toteri,
Aye.
member Sack,
Aye.
member Acharya,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston,
Aye.
Chairman Pritchard. Okay. The zoning map amendment has been approved unanimously.
Okay, Lee, we're going to ask you as vice chair if you could take over and run the remainder of the meeting.
Sure, I'll go ahead.
Thank you.
That should be the end of 5A, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Emily, and the applicants. So we can go ahead to 5B. And I believe that's Elliot.
Yes, good evening. I'll be presenting the other item on Slater Road. This is item 2021-23-0. This is a request to amend the land use plan and zoning map for 0 Slater Road. Oh, apologize. I'm waiting on control to start. I think there's a delay. There we go. Okay. So the subject parcel, again outlined in red, is located southeast of the intersection of Carrington Mill Boulevard and Slater Road and is bisected by Slater Road. The site is approximately 25.28 acres and specifically identified by Wake County PIN 0756-19-5721. Dominion is requesting that the land use plan be amended from the Regional Activity Center designation to the Business Activity Center designation on the north side of Slater Road here, and the High Density Residential designation on the south side of Slater Road. The petitioner is also requesting that the zoning map be amended from the Regional Activity Center district to the Conditional Business Activity Center district on the north side and the Conditional High Density Residential district on the south side. The site is adjacent to the Regional Activity Center zoning district to the south and east, the Office Institutional District to the north, and High Density Residential District to the west. This request is to accommodate an anticipated office building use on the north side and a multifamily development on the south side. The sketch plan for the proposed development can be found in the petitioner's application packet, and we will show it later in the presentation. The site is also not located within the town's corporate limits and will need to be annexed. The 2009 land use plan, designates the parcel as medium density residential. You can see it circled here. And the draft land use plan designates business activity center on the north side of Slater Road and high density residential on the south side, which is in line with the request. The applicant provided a TIA, which was conducted in May 2020. The TIA indicated that the proposed development is expected to generate 2,698 new daily trips, with 297 trips in the AM peak hour and 316 trips in the PM peak hour. The TIA recommended that the developer construct a 3-lane cross-section on Slater Road between the access points of the proposed development, with all access points expected to operate acceptably as full access driveways. The TIA also analyzed the Slater Road and Sorrel Grove Church Road intersection here, circled in green, due to its proximity to the proposed development. And while it stated that the intersection is not expected to meet all of the NCDOT warrants for a traffic signal, it showed the proposed development would contribute 13% of the traffic at the intersection in the AM peak and 14% in the PM peak, degrading the level of service at the intersection, and recommended the intersection continue to be monitored as it will likely meet the warrants for signalization as more development occurs in the area. Based on this recommendation, the applicant has offered a condition to contribute $15,000 for a future traffic signal at that intersection. Per the town's current payment in lieu fee of $2,244 per unit for new multifamily development, the estimated Parkland PIL contribution currently is $516,120 for the anticipated 230 units. The estimated school impact for the development is 50 students for the 230 anticipated units. In purposes of time, there are numerous conditions, so I will summarize. But for this request, the applicant has offered to prohibit these uses shown here on page 7, which would typically be permitted in the high-density residential and business activity center districts. The applicant has also offered numerous other conditions, including but not limited to limiting the size of the office building to 137,500 square feet, and limiting the number of units for the multifamily development to 230. They've also offered various cross-access agreements to the various adjacent parcels, and as well as the traffic signal and road improvements that were mentioned earlier. Staff recommends approval of the requested land use plan amendment and zoning map amendment from Regional Activity Center to Conditional Business Activity Center District on the north side of Slater Road and Conditional High Density Residential on the south side of Slater Road for the following reasons. The requested land use plan amendment is consistent with the recommendations in the final draft of the land use plan currently under consideration. The requested zoning map amendment would allow for development that is compatible with the adjacent office park to the north and the adjacent multifamily development to the west. The conditions offered from the applicant would prohibit uses inconsistent with the surrounding area, as well as ensure development in compliance with the UDO. And the request is compatible with the recommendations in sections 5.3.4A2 and 5.3.10C3 of the 2009 Land Use Plan. The Planning and Zoning Board should hold a public comment session on the proposed land use plan and zoning map amendments, and after which offer a recommendation of approval or denial of the request to Town Council. And that is all I have. The applicant, again, Neil Ghosh, will be speaking, as asked to speak briefly, and then we'll be available for questions that you might have after. And Michelle, am I able to show the sketch plan in attachment 2, petitioner's application packet?
In their application packet,
if not, if you'll permit me, I could share my screen with showing the sketch plan as well.
okay, if you could bring that up on your shared screen.
Sure.
And if you want to give that a try, it is not in the combined PDF, if that's what you were asking.
Okay. Is that visible?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Neil, if you'd like to go ahead.
Elliot, could you just go full screen on that PDF?
There you go.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and thank you, Mr. Ward, and good evening again, everybody. I still am Neil Ghosh at the Morningstar Law Group, but this time I'm representing Dominion Realty Partners, who you might be more familiar with. They are the developers of Shiloh Crossings here in Morrisville, but as this project demonstrates, they do more than just multifamily. In fact, in addition to multifamily projects, their portfolio includes several office and mixed-use projects in the Triangle, other parts of North Carolina, and in South Carolina and Virginia as well. With this proposed project, they are bringing their experience to deliver a mixed-use development, which will provide yet another Class A office space for firms looking to relocate or expand in Morrisville. But the other element of this project is a multifamily portion, which is equally important to responding to the locational needs of today's businesses. As Elliot mentioned, in total, the rezoning would allow us to implement up to 137,500 square feet of office and up to 230 residential units. This project, because of its scope, did require a traffic impact analysis, and the rezoning actually incorporates all of the recommended improvements from that traffic study. They are now, well, with this rezoning will become items which will run with the land or with the zoning and be required of the developer. One of the intersections that was studied also looked at the need for a traffic light. And the traffic light wasn't a recommended improvement for this development because of the percentage of impact that this project is expected to have at that intersection. Nevertheless, Dominion, who has done a project in Morrisville before, understands that it is important to have a more comprehensive framework around transportation planning. And as a result, they have, through a zoning condition, committed to providing a proportional share for the cost of that, the anticipated cost of that improvement. So we were roughly at 13 to 14% at that intersection, and the cost estimate given to us from the town was $100,000 for that traffic light. So Dominion has, I think, graciously offered to go ahead and commit funds to that for that purpose in the amount of $15,000, roughly 15%. So, this project is going to be a very important project, I think, for the Slater Road corridor because it provides two pieces that are going to be absolutely vital to Morrisville's ability to compete in the Class A office space world. One is, of course, Class A office space, which also the previous project is proposing to bring to Slater Road. However, it is more than just what the office building looks like. Businesses today really do value the locational aspect of it. So what the town of Morrisville itself has to offer and what the location specifically has to offer. A place for people to live, which is close to the office, is one of the top amenities for new businesses that are looking to locate in new office buildings. So the multifamily aspect of this project is very important, I think, to the success of this project and this corridor, generally speaking, for Morrisville. Aside from that, the project is similar to the last one. It's implementing, several additional, what I would call amenities or improvements, which would include, bike lanes, multi-use paths, and the like, to really bring this corridor and start bringing this area into a really top-notch office location, mixed-use location. So ultimately, this project, I think, is going to be kind of a gateway signature piece for the town of Morrisville. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's a really great project and one that can really help change and help shape how Slater Road develops in Morrisville in the future. Now, we have a couple of people on the line with us, and I'm going to apologize in advance because I don't even know everyone from the team who is here. So I apologize if I miss you, but we do have Chris Carlino, who is with Dominion. He's available to answer questions, as well as Tommy Craven. He's the lead engineer. And we have Caroline, I should have practiced that last name, Bajarski, who's our traffic engineer on this project. And so we're available to answer your questions if you have any. We look forward to getting your feedback. And again, we hope to have your support on this one. Really fired up about this project. So let us know what your thoughts are.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. So should we, Marty, is there any public comment for this particular application?
No, sir, there's no public comment.
So then I guess, are there any questions from the board?
I forgot to mention, we do also have long-range planning manager Ben Howell on as well, in case you guys have any traffic questions for him.
So thus far, it looks like we have Chris with a question. You can go ahead.
Thank you. My question is around the wet pond. I'm just not familiar with the topography in that area. Can you describe if there's some type of wall as protection against children or dogs in general across the backside of building number 4?
And so you're looking at the multifamily side, Tommy?
Yes. Yes.
If you're available, I think Tommy Craven on our team would be best suited to answer that question.
Yeah, the topography back there is falling from Slater Road to the south. As we get behind Building 4, there will be some retaining walls, and yes, there will be fencing along the top of the walls. And whether there's fencing around the entire pond or not is yet to be determined, but it will certainly comply with all of the town's ordinances.
Thank you.
Any questions from anyone else? You could go ahead and put it in the text box. All right, Sanjay.
Thank you, Lee. I had two main questions. Number one was, to the west of that Carrington Mills Road, are there townhomes or apartments? Does anybody know?
It's apartments.
Those are also apartments, okay. The other question was around, you talked about 50 children, school-going children. To me, that sounds quite low, but having said that, what schools are we looking at? I mean, they are all Wake County school systems, right?
Correct. That's the Wake County estimate number for this density. And it's all just done in a single number now.
Okay. And last question was, Matt, that future signal, right? Is there any reason why we are thinking about future development? Because when I look at that intersection, there is already development on the two sides of it. And now we are talking, this thing is about development on the other remaining two sides of the intersection. So what future development are you talking about that will require, I mean, that would come over that might put the signal in there? Why not put them now?
And I'm sorry, who was that question directed? I'm happy to.
To anybody. I mean, Elliot can answer that, or anybody on your team can answer that. Is why future? When I look at that intersection, there is already development on two sides, and you are developing the other two sides. So what future development are we thinking that would require the signal, that would put the signal in there as opposed to now?
Yeah, so let me address at least a portion of that question. So we're not working on any future development, so I couldn't really tell you what would come in the future. But what I can tell you is that traffic signals on NCDOT roads require signal warrants, and unless a project meets the warrants, well, unless a project meets the warrants or an intersection meets the warrants, the traffic signal actually will not be allowed by NCDOT. It seems kind of backwards when you think about it, but ultimately what NCDOT is saying is we don't want to have traffic lights that aren't managing enough traffic. So they don't want to just have traffic lights everywhere. They want them where there actually is a need. When the traffic study was done for this project, this project by itself would not warrant a signal at that intersection. It doesn't meet the warrant. So that's why a traffic signal was not required for this project. Nevertheless, we do understand that there may be additional traffic that will come to that intersection in the future if there is future development, or even if there's not, just the background traffic. And as a result, what we have done is offer to pay our proportional share for the cost of a light at that intersection when the time comes, when it is warranted. We're paying it now, but it'll be available when for a traffic light when it becomes warranted. So it's really like we're trying to do our part for a light that we think will be necessary in the future.
Okay. Elliot, any reason why we can't, has NCDOT taken into account the current traffic in there? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would defer to Ben, who looked at the TIA, and I'm not sure. He was also having internet issues as well, but I think he's available to answer questions.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. One for board member Archaya, are you speaking about the Carrington Mills Slater Road intersection?
Yes, sir.
Are you okay? That intersection is actually scheduled to have a traffic signal installed by another development.
Okay.
The Perimeter Park Peninsula development is required to install that traffic signal before they build or when they build their final building.
Got it.
As to the other intersection where they're contributing funds, that intersection has been studied actually by several TIAs at this point and does not meet warrants yet. And to answer Chairman Pritchard's question that he had put in the chat, yes, sir, we are comfortable with the $15,000 proposed.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben.
I'm done.
Anything else, Sanjay?
No, thanks.
So Peter has another question, and it's actually a question that I also had, asking if the office market declines, could the applicant just build apartments? And my question was basically, are these projects going to be linked and built sort of reasonably within the same time, or are they going to be undertaken separately?
So is that the question directed to us?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So the way we have set up this application, the north side could only be developed for office essentially. I mean, it cannot be developed for multifamily anyway, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm sorry?
Yeah, understood. I guess this is a question for you, and I guess circling back to Elliot. So are if you just say, hey, I'm not going to build office, could you build the apartments to the south and then just let that land sit? I guess, so there's what your plan is and then what is required, I guess, are the questions.
Yeah, so I guess, I think maybe this will answer your question, and I'm not trying to hide the ball here. I think what you're saying is correct. It is possible that we would build only the multifamily, and there would be no requirement that we actually build the office. Obviously, our intent here is to build both, but yeah, if something happened in the market, we have not set up this zoning application such that the office is required to be built. It is what could be built there, but we're not necessarily, there's no zoning condition or whatever that requires it to be built in a certain time frame. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, and so I guess circling back to Elliot or Ben, so if the TIA is for everything, I mean, would there be any issue with needing to return money or not having enough or whatever regarding the payment in lieu if part of this project did not go forward?
No, I'll just jump in there. Yeah, so there is the condition for the 15,000 for the intersection signal. That's just a condition for the rezoning itself. So that's in place. The Parkland PIL is strictly based on the 230 units for the multifamily, so that's also in place as well.
So in theory, if nothing ever got built to the north, it wouldn't really affect anything as far as revenue or anything that we'd be approving now. It would just be land that we develop.
That's correct.
And if I could also kind of add to the conversation, the north side of the property, which is proposed for BAC zoning, that's where the office is shown on the sketch plan. BAC zoning does allow residential use. Yeah. So there is a condition in the application that the site plan be in substantial conformance, but you could potentially build a single multifamily building in the same general location that office building is shown. So that would be a possibility absent a condition that multifamily not be allowed on the north side.
Right. Okay. And then Peter's, he also mentioned airport noise. I mean, just looking at the airport, I've got the map up on it appears this is probably not going to be within the contour, but I don't have the contour in front of me, but I'm assuming that isn't an issue with the multifamily. I mean, there's other multifamily right near this, so I can't imagine that it is a problem, but.
No, the airport noise will not be an issue.
Okay. So we have a question from Tim. Go ahead.
Yes, just a quick follow-up to Sanjay's point around the impact on schools. So do we have a review of potential impact at the current zoning at medium density versus the estimate that was provided at a change to high density? And the question stems from the overcapacity issue that we're facing now and what the delta is.
I do not have that, what the difference would be between the two available, but I'd be happy to find that out and get that back to you.
And so then the entire parcel is currently medium density, correct? So that would mean that even if it was a lower density, in theory, we could have apartments across the street or some sort of residential across the street instead of an office under the current zoning, correct?
Correct. Yep. The current yes, the current zoning is regional activity center. So okay. Yeah, you could have some sort of residential in there.
Were you gonna try and look that up now, or I guess, or Tim, or do you think you're okay with that, or do you need clarification?
Yeah, I think the follow-up was really more for staff around the concern. I think we've stated the concern about the growth. So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can definitely include that moving forward with the rest of the packet.
Okay. Yeah, that's true, because then by the time it gets to the council, they'll at least have that information. Are there any other questions?
I had more of a comment than a question.
Okay.
Sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
You go ahead and then we'll hit Josh.
Okay. My comment was more around when I look at these two plans and even the plan we saw before, one of the things that bothers me more and more is that we are slashing all the tree cover in those areas. There isn't much tree cover or grassland planting on either of these properties. Right? So that is something I would request the builders and our staffers to think about is how do we preserve at least some sense of greenery? Otherwise, that entire corridor will become more of a, buildings and homes structure. So please think about that.
Just sort of back to that. I mean, if you look at these properties now, I wouldn't consider there being very much in the way of tree cover at all. It's basically scrub. So this, I think in the areas that they are showing that riparian buffer, at least from what I've seen when I was looking it over earlier, it does appear there are trees in those locations. But it's pretty much been cleared. I don't know why it was cleared before, but it's cleared of anything right now.
Yeah. So if you can add some tree buffers where possible, that would be at least a smoother transition between the various spaces. So please consider that.
And I will just say that there will be buffer requirements along Slater Road there as well, on both sides of the road and around the perimeter of the properties.
And we require like plantings in all of the little median end caps and everything currently, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there'll be landscaping throughout the vehicle use area as well.
Okay.
And if I could just comment, so I can appreciate the comment from Board Member Acharya. I will say this plan sheet is a little bit misleading because the green areas show tree protection or tree preservation area. There will be, as Elliot mentioned, and as Vice Chair Langton was just referring to, there's going to be additional landscaping along Slater Road and greenery within the parking field there at the island breaks. So, there will be greenery all the way down that corridor along the frontage of this project, as well as the other one.
Thank you.
All right, Josh. Sorry.
Hi, thank you, Lee. I do have a question for the applicant. I'm glad Michelle brought up that the north side BAC under the principal use table does allow for multifamily. So I just wanted to know from the applicant which order, I guess, the development plans to start. Is there gonna be a start with the multifamily on the south side first, and then the offices to the north? I guess one of the concerns that I have is that they start to build these apartments, then they're built, there's a lease up, all of a sudden you've got 60% occupancy, and the developer decides, you know what, maybe some more apartments to the north might not be such a bad idea. And then we're back to this whole school issue again and all the stuff surrounding that.
So I'll say this. The order in which this will be developed is likely going to depend on the market at the time we're developing. If we were developing today, it seems like not necessarily a great day to start a new office building, given the office demand during the pandemic. So we're glad we're not already under construction. In all likelihood, I think, Josh, you're correct that the multifamily is probably going to be built first. But that's just as a function of what the market is at the time. The office piece on the other side is what Dominion is really looking forward to. I will say we worked a long time with staff on getting this application right. And originally we were proposing to rezone the north section to more of a office institutional and non-residential district, which wouldn't have allowed multifamily. So I can tell you that Dominion is definitely interested in planning on an office building on the north side. But I think it's fair what you said that, you know, if no one goes back to the office ever again, yeah, it's probably they're not going to build an office there. So that kind of flexibility, I think, is attractive at this point.
Okay. Anything else, Josh?
No, thank you.
So there's another question from Peter. And this is a blast from the past. I thought someone else asked this. Any kind of a play area for children or just the dog park?
So there's a pool and clubhouse area on the south side on that multifamily. If you look kind of on the eastern side or on the right-hand side of that page, it's towards the parcel boundary. There is a clubhouse and pool area that will be an amenity center for the multifamily in addition to the dog park.
I think
so, yeah.
There's more of, is there like going to be sort of a pocket park like for kids, like say 8-year-old, you know, play equipment, that type of stuff?
Tommy, I'm happy to have you answer that question because I don't know it.
Sure. If we haven't gotten to that level of detail yet with the plans, but there are certainly places where we could put that. There's area there between buildings 4 and 2 where a tot lot playground area could be positioned.
Yeah, I mean, because I can kind of agree, although I think we've had some applicants in the past say that, you know, the people who live in these SKUs a little younger, they don't generally have too many kids, but there will be some. If you have 50 kids going to school, potentially, you'll have some that would play. And I will say this is especially kind of far from any other park amenities that we do have in town. So, I mean, something would kind of be helpful, I think. But.
Yeah.
And thanks for that. Yeah, so I guess Tommy's already looking into it and where they can fit, and has eyeballed that area between buildings 4 and 2 for potentially a tot lot.
Yeah,
great question.
I think of that too. Yeah. So, any other questions?
And I apologize, everyone. My whole computer just crashed on me, so I'm on my phone. So we lost the sketch plan.
I saw something weird going on there. So, any other questions or comments? If not, then
I've got a comment.
Okay.
This has been a really eventful virtual hearing. I'm hoping you guys have better luck in the future. It seems like multiple people are having tech issues.
The funny thing is, it's actually been going pretty well. We usually have a couple people in it, but today is the first time everyone has been remote, so it happens. But thanks for bearing with us. So if there are no further questions, I guess I will entertain a motion. I don't see anyone willing to offer a motion up just yet. I think I get exempted from this one since I'm running the meeting now. All right, looks like Sanjay will make a motion.
Okay. Resolution 2021-23-OA or 0A, approving a land use plan amendment for 0 Slater Road, located southeast of the intersection of Slater Road and Carrington Mills Boulevard, to the Business Activity Center and High Density Residential Use Designation CPA 1872020. That's
Do we have a second? It appears that Ken has seconded. Yeah. So I guess, Marty, if you will take a roll call.
Okay, Member Acharya,
Aye.
Member Sack,
Aye.
Member Toterai,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston,
Aye.
And Chairman Pritchard.
He has indicated aye in the chat box.
Okay, so the motion to approve the land use amendment was passed unanimously.
Okay, I'll move on to the next one. Resolution.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
We have got 2 more to go, so hold on.
Two more motions.
You don't need to be here, but we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a fair point. I will wait.
Resolution 2021-23-0B pertaining to the adoption of a plan consistency review statement for a proposed zoning map amendment for 0 Slater Road, located southeast of the intersection of Slater Road and Carrington Mill Boulevard, REZ 186-2020.
You got to read the rest of that too, Sanjay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Down
Ordinance 2021-23-0, approving a zoning map amendment for 0 Slater Road, located southeast of the intersection of Slater Road and Carrington Mill Boulevard, to the Conditional Business Activity Center zoning district on the north side of Slater Road and the Conditional High Density Residential Zoning District on the south side of Slater Road, REZ 186-2020.
All right, actually, that you jumped ahead on that one. So on the consistency statement, you left off the first. You got the first paragraph, but we need to read the rest of that below there before we can go to the third one.
I only have that. Okay, I'll read that second paragraph again.
Well, you have the second paragraph, and then you got the underlines that talks about why it's in the public interest. We have to read all of that.
I need to perhaps look at another one. Give me a second. Let me open up the document. My apologies. Okay. Sorry about that. So let me read consistency statement. As required by General Statute 160A-383, I hereby make a motion to recommend approval of Resolution 2021-23-0B to the Morrisville Town Council pertaining to the adoption of a plan consistency review statement for the zoning map amendment for 0 Slater Road, located southeast of the intersection of Slater Road and Carrington Mill Boulevard, REZ 186-2020, based on the following. The proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan and is in public interest because approval of the amendment to the land use plan under 2021-23-0, Resolution 8 designates business activity center and high density residential as the land use category for the subject property. It supports Section 5.3.4A2 of the land use plan, which recommends providing a mix of residential, local retail, and office opportunities in the nature of a small mixed-use community center, primarily oriented around a surrounding office or industrial construction. Asterisk, underlying consistency statement is for approval recommendation only. If recommendation, yeah, that's not necessary.
So do we have a second to that? Looks like Tim has seconded the motion. Marty, if you'll go ahead and take the roll call vote, please.
Yes. Member Acharya?
Aye.
Member Sack?
Aye.
Member Toterai?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston?
Aye.
And Chairman Pritchard.
He has also indicated aye in the chat box.
Okay, so the consistency statement has been approved.
And now the last a little bit.
Yep. Zoning map amendment. I hereby make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance 2021-23-0 to the Morrisville Town Council approving a zoning map amendment for 0 Slater Road, located southeast of the intersection of Slater Road and Carrington Mill Boulevard, to the Conditional Business Activity Center and Conditional High Density Residential Zoning District, REZ 186-2020.
Do we have a second? Ken has seconded.
Okay.
Marty, if you go ahead and take the roll call, please.
Okay. Member Ataria,
Aye.
Member Sack,
Aye.
Member Toterai,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston.
Aye. And I can also see that Peter has indicated aye in the chat box.
Okay, Chairman Pritchard. Thank you. The zoning map amendment was passed unanimously.
Okay. We are now done. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you very much. You all have a nice night. And I don't think I have the next item on the agenda, so I'm hopping off.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you.
All right. So I guess this one is Michelle.
Okay. So thank you, Vice Chairman Langston. I'm presenting a UDO text amendment this evening that would provide staff some flexibility in administering the standards in the UDO during a state of emergency. And the need for this amendment was really brought to light with the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're bringing it forward to you now, really in working with Wake County on some of the vaccine rollout. Assistant Town Manager Brandon Zunema has been working in partnership with the county, and we're wanting to do what we can to make the rollout of that as smooth as possible. And this ordinance amendment will give us some additional flexibility to do that. The proposed amendment would allow the town manager or the planning director in consultation with the town manager the authority to waive or modify a UDO requirement during a state of emergency. Any standard that was waived or modified would need to relate to the responding to the emergency. Some of the things that it could be used to accommodate are things such as temporary housing, emergency response operations, setting up command facilities, temporary medical facilities, testing and vaccination sites, mobile hospitals, and other things. And while the COVID-19 pandemic is probably the impetus for this, it could be used in any state of emergency that may be issued in response to a natural disaster or anything else. The authority to grant staff that flexibility would cease as soon as the state of emergency was lifted. And so we have two action items for your consideration tonight. The first, a resolution adopting a consistency for the proposed text amendment, and a second, adopting the proposed amendment. And would just add that the language that is being proposed, that specific language is in the draft resolution attached to this item and was developed in consultation with the town attorney. Are there any questions?
Yeah, are there any questions? I don't have any.
Could you not do this through a ordinance from the mayor?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Could we not approve the use of temporary shelters or temporary basically things that you have indicated in here through an ordinance from a mayor instead of giving a blanket kind of authority to override some of the UDO criteria?
Right now, for kind of unique, I guess, temporary uses, this is one of the things that's set up for. There's a special event review process that we've been using. We have used it to review at least one testing site. Probably not the original intent for that process, but that is, the avenue that is available to us within the existing code. Earlier this year, we did have a situation where, completely COVID-19 pandemic, I think none of us saw it coming, but there was a month or more where town council was not meeting. And so if the group can't convene to take action themselves, this would also assist in that situation.
Thanks.
And you're only talking about in a declared state of emergency, not any other time, right? Is that going to be when declared, I guess, by the governor is what you're wanting, correct?
Right, only if we are under a state of emergency. The remainder of the time, these provisions would not apply.
Okay. Chris has a comment. You can go ahead. Chris, are you still here? So I guess while we're waiting for Chris, does anyone else have a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Just to clarify, this is very typical for other cities, people that are trained with FEMA, whether they're working with the cities or with the factories and how they interact. They're all trained in incident command, and that's one of the most important, that this code is clarified so that they're able to mobilize very quickly. So this isn't anything unusual, Sanjay. It's very typical.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out, is there another way to do this instead of just, modifying the development code, right? That's the only part I was on.
It would typically be in the code. It's giving immediate, I don't mean to speak for you, Michelle, but I've worked with other cities, and that's very typical, that if there is a state of emergency declared by the governor, people need to move very quickly, and that's the quickest way to work with the city planners and the city manager. Sorry, that was just a personal opinion. I can't speak for Morrisville, but just to share that it's typical of most cities.
Plus, with our we have council manager government, so really the mayor doesn't have a lot of, other than the fact he is on the town council, doesn't really have that much authority as far as day-to-day operations. So that's why we need to be in the code, I think, to give everyone the flexibility to do what they need to do.
Makes sense.
So if that's any other questions, I'll entertain a motion. That's also a net list that Marty had sent. So Tim is going to make the motion. Go ahead, Tim.
As required by General Statute 160A-383, I hereby make a motion to recommend approval of Resolution 2021-39-0 to the Morrisville Town Council pertaining to the adoption of a Plan Consistency Review Statement for Unified Development Ordinance Text Amendment, UDO Amend 21-0002, based on the following. The proposed UDO text amendment is consistent with the following policies in the comprehensive plan. Policy 1F, implement strategies to minimize threats to life and property from natural and man-made disasters. And policy 4C, ensure that Morrisville has adequate resources and prepared responses for potential natural or man-made emergencies such as evacuation plans and hazardous response programs. In addition, the amendments do not permanently alter any of the standards in the Unified Development Ordinance. It allows for flexibility in the administration of the standards in the state of emergency or in order to provide for public health, safety, and welfare.
Do I have a second? Sanjay has seconded. Marty, if you could take the roll call, please. Marty, we can go ahead and do the roll call if you're ready.
Marty, I believe you're muted.
Was also having tech problems. Member Acharya?
Aye.
Member Sack?
Aye.
Member Toterai?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston?
Aye.
And Chairman Pritchard?
He's indicated aye in the chat box.
Okay, the consistency statement was approved as submitted unanimously.
Now, Tim, the easy part.
Hereby move that the Planning and Zoning Board recommend approval to the Town Council of Ordinance 2021-39-0, approving a text amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance allowing for flexibility during a state of emergency UDO amend 21-0002.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Sanjay has seconded. So Marty, we can do the roll call again.
Okay. Member Acharya,
Aye.
Member Sack,
Aye.
Member Toterai,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston,
Aye.
Chairman Pritchard.
He's also indicated aye as well.
Okay. The text amendment was passed unanimously.
All right. Thank you. I guess this is all for you, Michelle.
Okay, thank you. Would you like me to move on to staff comments?
I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chairman. Just to review some of the activity that occurred at the end of last year, we did receive one new site plan application for 611 Church Street. There's a new proposed daycare center in that location. Also approved a new Fifth Third Bank building at 4007 Davis Drive. That's a 2,400 new square foot Fifth Third Bank. Town Council also approved the land use plan and zoning map amendments for the Park West Village mixed development, and that was the former Earth Fair building and the amendment to accommodate the mural, and also approved the comprehensive update of the sign code. So I'm glad to have that project done. We are also now at full staff in the planning department. Very excited for that. We had Kate Murdoch start as a planner 1 on December 29th, and actually just had another individual, Caleb Allred, start on January 11th. So you'll be seeing a couple new faces there. And that is all I have.
I'm amazed at the bank after having driven by that spot so many times that we can fit a bank in there. I'm looking at the plan right now and it fits, but that's something.
Yep.
Well, thank you for that. Let's see, where are we at on the, sorry. So I guess that is it. Are there any other board comments? Chris has a comment.
I do. I just want to thank the staff. I think that the packets have been phenomenal. You save us so much time. When I see table 2.4 with highlights on it, it just melts my heart. I have to tell you that. So it really saves us a lot of time and helps our level of understanding when we're going through the packets at home. So thank you so much for all the effort.
Thank you. I will share that with the rest of the staff. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
Tim also has a comment.
Yeah, it's a question really for staff around something that we could get around the forecasting for the cumulative effects of development on infrastructure. So, some of the cases we see that there's a traffic impact analysis, but you're looking at that as an N of 1 in particular project, where that would be helpful, to see some sort of a view with the remaining development that happens in Morrisville. What's the impact on schools, on services, on infrastructure? Because we look at a 50 or a 20 number, and that's a little hard to put in perspective sometimes as to what goes on. And I'm just wondering if there's any, modeling beyond what's already available that could be done to kind of add that perspective, so you can see if you move from one density to another, what's the impact? How does that move? And so it's really just a broad question if something like that would be available or be able to develop to help with some of the analysis.
And we could give some thought as to how to potentially incorporate some of that type of information.
So Peter has some comments. I guess he is still out. He's saying congratulations to the planning director for getting the department back up to full strength. And then he has a question for Michelle. Would you like to comment on progress with the land use.
Yeah. And thank you for that, Chairman Pritchard. To update everyone, the Planning and Zoning Board, as all of you know, reviewed the draft land use plan back at your December meeting. The Town Council was briefed on the draft plan at their meeting last Tuesday night. So they have started their review of that plan. Public hearing on the draft plan is scheduled for January 26th with potential adoption in February. We did get a number of questions from council at Tuesday night's meeting, so we're working on responding to those in preparation for the hearing on the 26th, but the plan continues to move forward through the process.
Thank you. On Peter's behalf. He also said thank you. Anyone else? So I guess my only comment is thanks to everybody for bearing with us. This has not been the smoothest, but at least we were able to get the business done. And hopefully we'll be able to do a little better next time. Kind of funny when multiple different computers decide to choke up at the same time, but you know, what are you going to do? So if that's the case, do we have a motion to adjourn? Oh, wait. So upcoming events, I'm sorry. Are there any upcoming events, Michelle?
We are celebrating MLK Day on Monday. Town offices are closed that day. Encourage everyone to celebrate the holiday, but nothing else is coming to mind as to upcoming events.
Thank you. So then do we have a motion to adjourn? Sanjay has made a motion. Do we have a second? And Tim has seconded. Go and take the roll call, Marty.
Sorry. Member Acharya?
Aye.
Member Sack?
Aye.
Member Tartari?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Langston?
Aye.
Chairman Pritchard?
He has indicated aye in the chat box.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. Bye.
Take care. Bye.